Hi, my name is Barry Sterling Mitchell. I produce the Pro Football Bias Plus reports and the Sterling Pro Football Net Point Power Rankings. And this is Ben and Barry on football.
And I'm glad you got all that out on the first try.
It was fast accuracy, though. I don't know if you realized that.
But you got it all out. My name's Ben Dickerson. I'm your co-host. The Super Bowl is over. Let the offseason begin.
Ben, yeah, we could take almost take a breather, except that I was listening to one of the coaches, and I don't know if it was Mariucci, and it was like, okay, so what happens now? You know, you won the Super Bowl. He's like, man, you got to get right to work. You're already behind. The other teams have already been working for like the last few weeks, you know, getting ready for the draft, getting ready for this, it's like a lot of work to do. You ain't got no time, you know what I mean? So right, kind of in that situation. So let's get ready to kick it off with the first quarter. Let's just talk about what we thought was going to happen and what happened. All right. So, yeah, what we thought was going to happen, or at least what the Bias Plus report thought was going to happen, based on net points and based on turnover differential. Those are the two main stats that went into this. It was the LA Rams at the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bias Plus score of 10 favored the LA Rams. But I was rooting for the Bengals. I said it. I was rooting for them. My Niners had broken their hearts before, and you know, I kind of liked them for a number of different reasons. McPherson is the kicker. You know, I like the kicker. I like his name. But there were some things I didn't like. But I'll let you, you know, let's talk about how you did and what you thought about your pick and how it went.
Well, I picked the Cincinnati Bengals on the strength of, I had several reasons also for wanting them to win the game and thinking that they would win the game. One of the main reasons why I thought they would win the game was because of their turnover differential over the course of the season, as opposed to the Rams' turnover differential. It was far and away, the Bengals were far and away stronger in that category. I thought if anything could be a difference maker, that would be it, along with the fact that I believed that the Cincinnati Bengals would have a better running game, with Joe Mixon being just as good, if not better, than all three of the backs that the Rams proposed to play going into the game. These are my thoughts before the game. Also, I felt that receiver-wise, if they weren't equal, and I can't actually say they were equal because no matter how great a rookie year Jamar Chase had, Cooper Kupp was otherworldly this season, and therefore that would have to elevate his receiving core a little bit above the Bengals' receiving core, but the difference was not that great. In fact, it surely was not that great considering when you look at three receivers down, I like Tyler Boyd way better than Van Jefferson. So if you go Kupp and Chase, Beckham and Higgins, Jefferson and Boyd, again, I like the Bengals' chances as a receiving core. Quarterback-wise, look, I look at these guys as equals as far as, and this again is going into the game, as far as arm strength, reading defenses, not being super turnover prone, which in fact that goes in the favor of Joe Burrow over Stafford. You know, everything said to me that the Bengals should win the game. Now, as we talk about the game, as I'm watching it, everything I not necessarily predicted, but what I was leaning on was all coming true. Stafford threw 2 interceptions. Mixon clearly outrushed all 3 of the Rams running backs. The receiving core was doing their thing. Beckham started out hot and looked like he was about to have a big day, which really scared me. Then he got injured. Unfortunate. I hated to see it happen. It was a non-contact injury. I don't know if it was on the knee that he had injured before. I think it was actually the other knee. Nevertheless, he's out of the game. Now the difference between Tyler Boyd over Van Jefferson becomes even greater now, because now Van Jefferson has to step up to the number 2 guy. He did not perform. This was the Bengals game to have. The Bengals should have won this game. The Bengals played well enough as a team to win this game until they got into the fourth quarter. 2 things happened. Number 1, their clear weakness, which was their offensive line, finally folded. People are saying, oh, their line stinks. Those guys did a stellar job for 2.5, almost 3 full quarters. What's his name? Aaron Donald. I think he had no sacks and maybe 2 hurries in the first half. I couldn't even remember him. I remember I texted you, I said, have you heard Aaron Donald's name yet? By halftime. They were doing a bang-up job. But the biggest thing I think that happened to Cincinnati and caused their demise was when the Rams, trying to come from behind, got into the red zone, and then basically got 8 downs to score because of some ticky-tack penalties that I saw worse happen in the first half, and they weren't called. You give a good team too many opportunities down inside the 5-yard line, eventually they're going to score. Not to mention when you can get in close and match up Cooper Kupp against Eli Apple, that's a disaster waiting to happen. But it shouldn't have gotten to that if not for the questionable calls. I'm sorry, those were questionable calls. Other than that, it was a really good game. I enjoyed the halftime show. I thought the game doggone near went down to the wire. And then to make matters worse, and this is the last thing I'm going to say about it, is you put up the picture of Jamar Chase running downfield, butt naked clean, with Jalen Ramsey laying on the ground going, oh no. And Joe Burrow gets sacked. So they still could have pulled it out. But what are you going to do? Really good game. I'm not going to call it a great game. It was a really good game. I immediately at the final gun said Cooper Kupp has got to get the MVP, but I thought they might give it to Stafford. They didn't. They gave it to Kupp. I was happy about that. And all's well that ends well. But in my heart of hearts, I don't think the better team won.
Well, there's so much that we agree on, and then there's intersections of information that I wanted to throw in there, because I want to be a total Monday morning quarterback, but there were certain things I was looking for, and then it was coming up a little weird, and I was like, okay, why is the coach doing this? Okay, so first off, first quarter, like your first series, you go for it on 4th down on their own 50.
I do not agree with that.
Really? I told you before, I think that they think it's a show of strength. And to me, I think it's a show of weakness, because you don't think you can play with this other team. You know what I mean?
At that point in the game, it's a show of confidence to me. At that point where they were.
I think he was playing scared. And again, you talk about the importance of field position. You give your defense field position. One thing I had to say about their defense, they shut down the Rams' run game.
Completely.
That got shut down, okay? So I had to give them kudos for that part of their game. And it was better than what I expected. So I really thought that was bad, and it turned right into 6 points with OBJ. Bam, score. You know what I mean? So you can't just give up field possession to a team that has that level of explosive players. The other thing that struck me weird was on 3rd down. And, I focus in on 3rd and 4th down because those are what I call turnover downs, So they're very important. And I kept seeing turnover downs, and Joe Mixon wasn't in there. And I went back and looked at the plays. There's at least 4 third downs. One in the first quarter, 3rd and 1, gave it to Perrine, 0 gain.
Samaje Perine.
6:22, 3rd and 4th, pass to Evans. This is your 2nd and your 3rd down on the depth chart, okay?
Yep.
9:58, third down, pass to Evans. In the 4th quarter, a 1:25, 3rd with a pass to Perrine. Now, when I went back and looked, Mixon got 72% of the snaps, but it was on 1st down and 2nd down.
How many passes did he catch? How many targets?
I think it was like 5 for 5. They actually did a pretty good job. I'm going to give this to you in a second. They actually did a pretty good job on him relative to playing him as a receiver. He had 4 targets, 3 receptions, 4 yards, 1.3 yard average. They were, but now what that means to me, okay, when you have a guy like Mixon, when Mixon went to the flat, they had somebody go to the flat with him.
Sure.
So whoever went to the flat ain't in the middle. You know what I mean? When you got a guy, that's what I used to say about Kittle. When you got a guy who can dictate coverage, you know what I mean? Then you got to learn to use that against them. And I don't think that they did that, especially when you take him out, and he's your best player. He's the highest rated. We talked about it on the Madden. He was the highest rated player on the team. You know, you don't take him out on 3rd down. You know, I heard some commentators saying, you know, that 4th down, the one before, or the down before where Aaron Donald sacked Joe Burrow, down before that, they handed the ball off. Aaron Donald fought off a block, and as the guy was running by him, reached out with one hand, grabbed him, and stopped his momentum completely, okay? Right. And he did not get that 1st down. And I heard one of the commentators say, I don't think he would have stopped Mixon like that.
Okay.
You know, so that to me, I thought was strange. And then I guess I'll finish with this. I'm watching the game, and the entire time as they're going down the stretch, I'm going, don't let Cooper Kupp beat you. Just don't let it happen.
Can't say that.
I can say that because at some particular point, you know where it's going to go. And like you said,
and you know what's going to happen.
You definitely can't leave Eli Apple singled up on him. You got to have something in your defense to help out over there on Cooper Kupp, because beyond Van Johnson, or was it Van Jefferson? It was a guy named Skoranek, or a guy named, you know, the guys that they would have to be the ones. You would have to hear miracle catch by Skoranek to win the Super Bowl, because I would not, if I had to triple team. And you know who said it? That was funny. The show. What is it? Pardon the interruption.
Yeah.
The old white guy. He's like, I'd have triple teamed him. But I would have had people hitting him coming off the line. I'd have had somebody on the short and then somebody on the deep, and that he's not going to beat me. That would have just been me. Maybe it's just my ego, but that guy's not going to beat me. And I just was going to make sure of that, because other than that, he's going to beat you because he's that good. He is that good. And they have that much of a chemistry between him and Stafford. I mean, it's a beautiful thing to watch, actually. You know, it's kind of like Aaron Rodgers with his boy, you know what I mean? They kind of just have a good sync together, you know, but what can I tell you? So that's, as far as I'm concerned, that's pretty much the game. And, you know, talent, I would say talent won out. You know, we talked about the 99 rated players on the Rams. They didn't have any of those on the Bengals. 93 was his highest rating. That was Mixon. And you had your top talent, you know, your top talent, Cooper Kupp, Aaron Donald. When it came money time, you know, they showed up and they got it done. As far as what you said about the penalties, couple things, and I've been seeing a lot of this lately. That ticky-tack penalty that they called on the linebacker was at the end of the game, which, you know,
that was horrible.
There's a picture, and I think I have it up on Ben and Barry on football. If not, I'll get it up there. Before the ball is snapped, Aaron Donald's across the line of scrimmage. He's offsides. He's offsides and it never got called, you know.
Not to mention the Rams were offsides on the touchdown.
Right, exactly. Like 3 guys. Everybody was offside. So
at least 2, the right tackle and somebody else, both took a kick step back into pass protection before the ball was snapped. I watched it 23 times. So yeah, they got some breaks, but it's football. That's referees. That's the human element. You know, they're going to miss stuff. But that penalty on the line, but he played that as perfectly as you possibly can. And
yeah, I thought he got a little grabby on the back shirt, but I didn't think it was.
Grab his shirt.
I didn't think that he really changed the movement of the receiver at
Not
all.
at all.
You
Not
know,
at all.
so that in terms of that, no, you know.
As opposed to Jalen Ramsey pulling somebody's shirt back so far you could see it from the top of the stadium, and there was no call on that.
No call, yeah.
So, you know, and I was cool because I'm like, okay, they're gonna let him play. You know, that means hand fighting and all that. We're gonna let that go unless it's egregious. And then this guy puts, if he did anything, he put his hand on the back of the receiver, but he did not close. Look at it again. His hand's open. You can see his fingers. So he didn't grab. His hand was on his back. He didn't impede his progress. He kind of felt his speed, watched the ball, got the other arm out, and knocked it down. That's a perfect defensive play.
Right.
For him to get called for a penalty, that hurt. That was bad.
Yeah.
The one thing I will agree with you on, though, is once it got to a situation where they're on the freaking 1 and Kupp comes out and lines up in front of Eli Apple, at that point, you got to put your pride aside. Bring the freaking safety down and put the safety and the corner on him like he's a gunner on the punt team. If he go this way, you got him, and you got him pinned to the sideline. If he comes this way, I got him. He ain't going nowhere. You're not getting off the line of scrimmage, bro. If that guy with the funny name, if Skoranek beats us, oh well, it'll be a great story tomorrow. But this dude right here, he's not going to beat us.
No. So all right. All right. Well, we agree there. And one other thing that someone said, they said that the Rams defense struggled with screens, and the Bengals didn't run one screen the entire game. You know, we said you're going to have to outflank those guys. That's yeah. Think about it. You can go back and look. I don't think they ran a screen the entire game.
No, they did get him with, though, which is almost sort of kind of in a weird way like hitting you with a screen, and can affect you the same way as a screen. They did run several draw plays, and they were successful. So it's kind of the same thing. You kind of let the D-line get upfield, and then bang. So they took a different approach to it. They did have success with it. In defense of the Bengals taking Mixon out and putting P. Ryan and the other guy in,
Evans.
Those guys are the pass catching backs. So if it's third down, especially if it's 3rd and 6, you're going to put them in because that allows you to get the extra pass receiver out there. If it's 3rd and 1, I'm sure their mindset is, we're going to put these guys in, but people know they can run the ball too. So that puts the defense in a quandary. We can either fake it to them, we can have them pass protect, we can swing them to the flat. It gives us a lot of options.
Well, and I can see them thinking that and they probably used them in that way, even though I
That's what
haven't
they've
looked
been
at
doing.
any stats to confirm it. But I hear what you're saying. I think what I'm saying is I don't think any of those guys is as good a receiver as Joe Mixon. So
that's debatable, but
okay, well, we can debate it.
Mixon
But
gets a lot more touches than they do.
I think that it should have been Joe Mixon day. He at one point.
I agree.
However you deploy it, that's how you do it. All right. Let's get ready to move on to a couple nice stories. Let's see. All right, Benny. So the thing I wanted to share, and I thought it was a nice story, was a little bit about the Cooper Kupp family history.
Yes.
You heard about this?
Well, I know that his father and his grandfather both played in the NFL.
Yeah. He's the third generation. His brother actually played in the NFL on the Rams with him for 1 year. He's now a coach.
Okay.
But I just thought it was so neat. And it's the type of thing that we talk about legacy, family legacy, the legacy of football. You know what I mean? To be able to go back and to see, that, he comes from, a long line. He's got a legacy of football in his family. And I just think it's really neat to have that. So I wanted to kind of mention Cooper Kupp in terms of his father, and his brother. These guys, and Ben, this was back in the day when before they had 7 rounds in the draft. Now,
yeah,
they had a lot of rounds in the draft back in the day.
Yes, they did.
So I just thought that was really neat, and I wanted to share that. Okay, Benny, I don't know if you got a chance to see this, or I know you saw it on the post on our page. Brett Favre and Mike Vick are playing flag football now. Did you know much about this game?
Well, Michael Vick played last year when they had that sort of kind of round robin tournament type thing. He did quarterback one of the teams. I forget how far they went, but they didn't make it to the final.
No, yeah, that was now it was him and Brett Favre on the same team.
I don't remember Favre playing at all.
Okay.
This was that thing that they did last year. That was super competitive.
Was it?
It was extremely competitive. They had true flag football players from across the country that they used to put these teams together. And I think it was only 1 or 2 teams that had former NFL players on it. And I don't think either one of those teams made it to the final. Maybe one of them did. I'm not sure. I know Vic's team didn't. There's a guy that's active in flag football right now. His name is Mike DeMartelier. He's won several national championships at different levels. We just came back from Florida from the Nationals back in January. His 9-man team won a national title again this year, a team called Main Event. So he's still playing. He actually played in that. I think he played on a team that was called Red Alert or something like that. I'd have to go back and
say that one more time. You kind of broke up a little bit for a second.
Okay. You want me to start from the beginning?
But just right before you said Red Alert.
Well, I believe that was the name of the team that he quarterbacked. I believe it
Okay.
was called Red Alert.
Okay.
It was either called Red Alert or Code Red. And they played in that, it was televised. You watched some of the games. It was televised 7-man non-contact flag football, which is basically the rules that they were playing under. And the games were on a few weekends in a row. So he is an active flag football player in this area that had the opportunity to play in that so-called league for the one time that they did it. Now, supposedly they're going to bring that back because off of that, they're trying to take flag to the Olympics. So they have to have some kind of a showcase to get it into the Olympics. So I believe they're going to bring that back and try to make it more like a real league. It's a very fast game, very exciting. Personally, I would prefer the full contact style of 8-man flag football, but the 7-man non-contact style is interesting in itself. It enhances the skills of the skill position players, like the quarterbacks and the wide receivers mostly. There's no real room for linemen or true linemen or anything like that. It's all speed and route running and great passing and run after the catch ability. That's what the flag game is all about. So, now if they want to put something together to bring back old dudes like Vic and Favre and all, that'd be fun too. Personally, I think that's what the Pro Bowl should be. But to really enhance the Pro Bowl, they should have the regular. Well, you can't really do that because that leaves no, you can still have your Pro Bowl selections, but the linemen just simply get to put the fact that they got picked for the Pro Bowl on their resume. The skill position players should play the game, but they should play it as flag. Now, the fast guys, the Tyreek Hills and all that, now we really get to see them run. You know what I mean? The great route runners, now we really get to see them work without helmets, without pads. Now the quarterbacks, all these scrambling, running quarterbacks and great in the pocket. Now we really get to see their footwork and their skills with no pocket to step up into. I think that would be a great game. I think people would like it. I think people would say, flag, But let's face it, if you play regular football in the Pro Bowl and nobody's hitting, what difference does it make? At least you have to be competitive to pull the person's flag off. It is not easy. Trust me. People on the outside looking at flag football, oh man. But until you've played it and really watched it, you don't realize how challenging it actually is.
I had a different idea. I had heard someone else pose what you said, and it kind of struck me as kind of making sense. You know what I mean? If you were going to do it. One of the challenges still is that they have it scheduled for before the Super Bowl. And I don't think anybody playing in the Super Bowl is going to play any flag football of any
No,
type.
they're not.
So your top players aren't necessarily going to be there. So I don't know why they scheduled it for before the Super Bowl. I think it was a mistake. I think that it should be after the Super Bowl. And I think that my big money idea is still kind of out there, but it would be called something like the Fantasy Bowl. And I think there could be a marriage of fantasy and big money in a serious game that could pull players in almost on an international basis and have a really serious game for some serious money. You always have to figure out how you're going to get the money. But, big time fantasy roller might be able to do it. You know what I mean? As an owner or something like that. I don't have it all figured out yet because, I'm not a fantasy guy. But, between fantasy and what else would it be? regular game type thing. You still got to pick teams, but
Yeah.
you want
In order to do
people
that,
to play. That's the main thing. You want them to play real football at the very least.
if you're going to do something like the first thing like that, the first thing you have to do is you have to have players commit to playing. Players have to say, yes, I will play. Then you have a pool of players. Once you have a pool of players, then you can draft. It's only 7-on-7. So you only need what, a 15-man roster, maybe 16-man roster, maybe, if that. Be plenty of players to go around. And this thing about the best player, you're going to have the best players. You just won't have players that play in the Super Bowl. Even if you play it the week after, if I win the Super Bowl, I'm not playing in that. If I lose the Super Bowl, I'm not playing in that.
Of course
I'm either
not.
partying.
That's why I said
But what
it
difference
has
does
to
it
be
make?
some big money. Big money.
That's not going to make those guys play.
Okay.
Maybe two guys.
Everybody has their price. I heard
Maybe
that
two.
somewhere.
Okay. Well, you're going past.
Your price.
It's
All
not.
right.
First of all, it ain't that important.
money.
No,
Money.
it's not that important to get up the money.
You
Who
want
you
this
going to
guy
get?
on your, you want
Is
this guy on your flag team?
it that important to have Jamar Chase and Cooper Kupp playing that game?
That's up to Jamar Chase and Cooper Kupp, but they don't want the
No,
money.
is it that important to get up enough money that you think will attract those two guys? You got everybody else. Who else you want in it that's in the Super Bowl?
Hey, look.
What other players? What other players
There's a
from
lot
the
of really
Super
good
Bowl
players.
teams do you say, I gotta have that guy? We got to get this money up because we got to have these guys. And it's only two teams, the Rams and the Bengals. I got to have these guys off of those two teams. How many people are we talking about?
You need to field the team. You need at least, what, 11?
You got 30 teams to choose from.
So what's the problem? What's the problem?
It's not a problem. You're making it harder than it needs to be. You have 30 teams worth of skill position players to put this on. You don't need players from the Super Bowl teams. You're talking about going out and digging up all this extra money to pay 3 or 4 guys to make this work. It'll work without them. Screw them. They're not going to play.
So are you
saying
you say you don't need the big money?
No, you don't need those players. You're doing extra work for no reason. You're doing extra work to drag up money.
Put it before the Super Bowl because you don't need those players.
You could do it before the Super Bowl or after the Super Bowl. If you're going to do it after the Super Bowl, then you think you're going to do it after the Super Bowl because you can get players from off the 2 Super Bowl teams. I'm telling you, you don't need them. They don't want to play anyway. And now you're going to try to make somebody play that doesn't want to play by incentivizing it with extra money. Why? Why is it so important that I got to go out and get all this money to get a guy who don't really want to play to come play when I have 30 teams worth of skill position players that will put on a great game? Why do I need Jamar Chase? Why do I need Cooper Kupp when I got Devontae, Stephon, Amari?
I didn't say that you needed those guys specifically. I just thought that if you put it after the Super Bowl, there might be some people from those 2 teams that they're big stars now. They might want to be a part of that. Maybe not.
Remember, it's the Pro Bowl.
I understand what you're saying.
It's the Pro Bowl. There's only a couple Pro Bowls on each team.
Pro Bowl, or in my case, the Fantasy Bowl. But long story short, that's beyond what we're going to do for right now. But I do like the idea. I like your idea. I like my idea. I don't like the current idea.
I don't think anybody likes the current idea. I haven't heard anybody even give one inkling of saying that they like the Pro Bowl the way it is.
It's crazy.
Not even a little bit.
All right. So the whole time we've been talking, I've had this young man's picture up here. 17 years old.
It's incredible.
Is that amazing? I mean, and I guess he's a running back.
He's a running back. He's 17 years old. He benches 415 pounds, squats 615, deadlifts 720. That's absurd. That is absurd. Okay? You got guys coming out of college that are touted as first round picks in the NFL draft that get on the bench and can only bench 225 10 times. And this guy's max is 415. Stop it.
Amazing.
It's insane.
Amazing. The one thing they don't have here is this 40 time. I was wondering about that.
I could guess it's 40 time looking at his thighs. I'm sorry. That might not sound right. I'm sorry. I apologize. That's sub 4'4" thighs right there.
Sub 4'4"?
Sub 4'4" thighs.
Are you serious? Sub 4'4".
We can look him up real quick. What's his name? Brinson? You go ahead. I'll find him. What's his first name? Ray?
Branson Robinson. Branson Robinson.
Branson
Robinson.
You look at a kid like that and you think, okay, he's coming out now. He's a senior, right? Senior in college, right? No, he's a junior in high school. 5'10", 220. Already the perfect running back size for the NFL. It's from Madison, Mississippi, Germantown High School. In Madison, Mississippi. Wow. 24/7 Sports has him as the number 62 nationally ranked over everybody, the number 4 running back. He's number 1 in Mississippi. This is crazy. I don't think I'm going to see a 40 time in here, though. I'd have to dig a little bit deeper. I don't want to take the time to do that. But the kid is obviously this. Guess who to compare him to? Samaje Perine.
Are you serious?
Yeah, just plays for the Bengals.
What?
Probably because of his size and his build. Rocked up, thick frame running back with NFL muscle and strength. Bruising runner, great steam between tackles, churns out yards after contact, constantly grinds out short to intermediate runs, shows efficient movements, jump cuts, cutback ability, big time production, built to carry the load. This is a 17-year-old we're talking about. Now, doesn't appear to have great straight line speed. I was wrong. To run away from defenders at this stage. But the kid's still young. Ran 11.4 in the 100.
Well, at least he's running 100.
9.74 yards per carry. God damn.
Are you serious?
Damn.
Are you serious?
I don't even want to know anymore. At official visits, he's been he visited Georgia, he visited Alabama, visited Tennessee, committed to Georgia. Georgia Bulldogs, baby. That's where you're gonna find him next year.
All right, we'll have to keep an eye out on that, dude. I thought that was crazy there. So who put this out? I forget who. PFF mock draft.
Oh, good. Pro Football Focus. We like them.
The Bengals.
I trust them.
Yeah. Look at the positions. I just thought it was hilarious.
Tackle, guard. Yeah, that's bro. I don't know who number 77 is. I don't know his name, but he got manhandled all season. They used the center to help him all through the first half. And all the Rams did was they mixed up their rush schemes a little bit, where they moved Aaron Donald from this side to this side, put him outside, put him inside, until they got him singled up, and he pushed him backwards like he weighed 10 pounds. That guy's got to go. He's the right guard for the Cincinnati Bengals.
The right guard is Hakeem Adanji.
Okay, get him out of here.
You have a Jackson Carman and a Trey Hill behind him. Let me just
All right. He'll be lucky to be on the practice squad
number
next year.
77.
Yeah, he's got to go. He's got to go.
He's got to go. I just thought it was hilarious. This guy. Oh, they got a Mitchell on here. They
got beat up in the
interior linemen, centers and guards and tackles.
All of them. That's it. What else do they need? Really, when you think about it, what else do they need? They need another corner.
I was getting ready to say they need another corner. Exactly.
You know, Eli Apple will be on his fourth team next year. You know, because he already played for the Giants. He was a bust. He played for the Saints. He was a bust. Now he's playing for the Bengals, and he had a decent season. But when teams needed to go after somebody, they went after him. Okay, so if they get a good corner in the draft or pick up somebody in free agency, he will probably be moving on to his fourth team. The guy can play, but he's at the low end as far as corners are concerned. I'm sure we could go back to Pro Football Focus at a later date and find out where exactly he is ranked. Because, you know, they watch every down, every play of every player to rank them. And if there's 70 corners in the league, you know, he might be number 68. I don't know. I
don't think he's that far down, but you know, again, you know, he needed help, and I think that they made up. They signed their coach to a nice long-term contract there, the Bengals coach.
As they should. I agree with that.
Long-term contract. So
he's got a good thing going there.
Now, wouldn't this be weird? The site of the 2023 Super Bowl is in Arizona.
There's no chance of that. Okay, so we can stop that right there. At the beginning of 2021, or the beginning of 2020, when Tom Brady went to the Buccaneers, people started talking about this right away, where the Super Bowl was going to be. As soon as Stafford went to the Rams, people started talking about it right away, where the Super Bowl was going to be. This right here, that ain't going to happen. Kyler Murray right now is having a hissy fit. He's having a Ben Simmons meltdown because somebody said something about it. Several writers have come out and said he is self-centered, petty, a crybaby. Bruh, I don't even know if he's going to be a Cardinal next year.
This is the funny part about it. What you're saying, it makes sense when you think about him at quarterback. But if all of a sudden you switched him out and put in Aaron Rodgers, bam, everything changes.
Everything changes. That's true.
And that's kind of what happened in 2021 and 2022.
Good point. Good point. You're absolutely right. So, okay, when you look at it that way, and the only reason I started out saying what I was saying was because under normal circumstances, this is a guy that you expect to be there. But right now, today, Kyler Murray may not be there in the future. He may not be there next season. He might be trying to work his way out of there. They might be looking to get somebody else. I don't know, but there's trouble in paradise out there in Arizona. That's for sure.
Well, we want to say congratulations to Hugh Jackson. he is getting what does he get? Approved by the ULS Board of Supervisors to pay him a base salary. Said it was, what did he get? He got picked up as Grambling State's coach.
He's going to be the coach.
That's what it looks like here. Let me
I
double
mean,
check.
That's a good thing. 4-year, $1.6 million deal.
Well, this is the thing, and it was interesting because once he came out in support of Florio,
yeah,
and the suit against. So I'm thinking, they keep saying Florio won't get another job in the NFL, and I'm thinking, okay, he was not going to get one either. So, good thing that he was able to go get that.
Those incentives include $10,000 for each win against an FBS opponent. Okay, that won't happen in the first couple of years. $15,000 for winning a Black college national championship. All right, well, he's going to have to deal with Dion and Eddie George for that.
Yeah, sure enough.
$25,000 for winning the Celebration Bowl, $10,000 for winning the SWAC division. Those are nice incentives. Coach of the year, those are all great incentives. He probably won't hit any of them, but congratulations, Hugh Jackson, for becoming the coach of Grambling University. It's a prestigious place to be as far as, HBCU football is concerned. He should be proud, and I'm happy for him. Whether he could turn their program around or not, we shall see. But this is a good thing. This is actually a good thing.
He's going to get 25% of the funds from new revenue-generating initiatives, promotions, opportunities, or sponsorships, resulting in a university contract that did not previously exist. Now, if you remember what Dion was able to do, and Hugh Jackson's not Dion, no doubt about it. The star power is not the same. But I think they mentioned somewhere in the area of $33 million economic benefit to the city of Jackson, something of that nature.
Right.
So, all of these pros going back to the historically Black colleges are really creating a stir. People are getting excited about the opportunities and what's going on. So, there could be some additional revenues. The kids, everybody's now. The kids can market their own names, but the schools can market their names too. You know what I mean? So there could be some money there in addition to those incentives. So I just wanted to make sure that we had an opportunity to congratulate Hugh Jackson for that contract. Grambling was, do you think Grambling was known as a good football school?
Back in the day, yeah.
Yeah, as I remember it.
Back when NFL teams heavily scouted HBCU teams, which I would say probably was the 50s and the 60s, Grambling was big time then. They got a lot of guys out of Grambling. They got guys out of Morgan, got guys out of Southern, your school, FAMU, Bob Hayes. Didn't he go to Florida A&M?
Sure did.
Okay, see, when they needed certain positions, they knew where to go. Mean Joe Green, Strahan, they all went to HBCUs. So it's only kind of lately, like the 90s and the 2000s, where they've kind of started to stray away. Not stray away, but not look so hard at HBCU schools, simply because all the better players are going to regular D1 colleges, But that looks like it's about to change.
That absolutely looks like it's about to change. I want to mention one thing before we wrap up, and then I'll let you you go ahead. I was doing a little bit of research, and I was so surprised that the name Johnny Cochran came up as part of NFL history.
Okay.
And what happened was this. As a reaction to the 2002 firing of head coach Tony Dungy of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Dennis Green of the Minnesota Vikings. At the time, Dungy had a winning record and Green had just had his first losing season in 10 years.
Right.
Civil rights attorney Cyrus Mehri and Johnny Cochran released a study showing that Black head coaches, despite winning a higher percentage of games, were less likely to be hired and more likely to be fired than their white counterparts.
And when was this? 2000 what?
2.
Wow.
And
yeah.
So out of that study came a lawsuit. And out of that lawsuit, in order to avoid it, you had the establishment of the Rooney Rule.
So that's where it came from. So they didn't just cook this up out of the kindness of their hearts. Thank you, Johnny Cochran. They still got off easy because the Rooney Rule is full of loopholes. But what it did was it made it look like they were making an effort. And I think it was a good-natured effort. I think they really thought, if we make this rule, then the teams will give more opportunities to Black guys to get interviewed. But like we talked about last week, the bottom line is the owner makes the decision. The owner makes the decision. They'll say the GM makes the decision, but the owner makes the decision. And or he tells the GM, this is what I'm looking for, or this is what I'm not looking for. Okay. So at that point, all you have to do then is interview 3 non-white guys.
Yeah, because they actually changed it at one point from Black to minority.
Yes.
So you can do a minority as opposed to just an African American.
Right.
But yeah, when I saw Johnny Cochran's name, I'm like, okay, this is a bit of Black history.
That's cool. I did not know that. I thought, the conversation was happening, and then the NFL says, you know what? Because I thought the Rooney family actually came up with it. But I thought it was NFL driven on its own, as opposed to, I did not know that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
So I just thought that was amazing. All right. That's about it for me. You got any last words?
No, that's it for me, man. Go Noles.
Hey, man, it's been a great season. We're going to follow through with more information. We got the drafts coming up. We got free agency popping. We have a football game this coming weekend, right? The HBCU Bowl or something of that nature comes up this weekend. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I believe we might have something of that nature. So tune in, Ben and Barry on football at www.benandbarryonfootball.com. Peace.